So there's been a lot of rumors and speculation that the Resident Evil 2 remake, the long-awaited remake for my favorite fucking horror game of all time, we've been waiting on this since the very first Resident Evil 1 remake came out, I believe, on the GameCube, and of course the same treatment was given to Resident Evil 0. It's kind of funny that Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, two of some of the most hyped Resident Evil games, period, has never ever had a remake or gotten the same treatment. And now, of course, we learned back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, that the game was going to get a remake. And then, of course, it went silent for 2 years, making people speculate that the game had been canceled. Hell, there was even a rumor that the game was canceled. But now we are getting a lot of course, rumors that the game will be at E3 2018. I can't give you a true pinpoint of when these rumors actually started or who had started them. However, I know that you've seen on Twitter recently that there's been a lot of people proposing that, of course, oh, it's on the chart and on the list for the PlayStation presentation and stuff like that. And that may be possible, definitely, although we do know that PlayStation or Sony are planning on focusing on, I believe, 4 games, and of course 3 of those 4 games I do cover here on the channel. So they are planning on focusing on 4 games, so that doesn't mean they won't be showing anything else. However, that focus will definitely take up a lot of time, and we don't know right now of them doing any kind of big presentation. We just know they're actually planning on focusing on 4 games. But Resident Evil 2 Remake could be that special game that they always do every year, to where of course they may throw out a trailer for this, or Capcom may give them a trailer to present for this, as of course they are going to be going on the first day of E3 Monday next week on June 11th, which is why you guys are seeing this video, because once again Resident Evil 2 is my favorite horror game of all time. So today what I'm going to do is actually going to go back in time and actually look at everything that we've heard about Resident Evil 2 Remake this year. So I believe that everything started with Hideki Kamiya, who worked on the original game, and now he works on like Bayonetta, and he works at Platinum Games. He used to work at Capcom, so let's go ahead and get into it. I heard that my friend is directing Resident Evil 2 Remake. Let's trust him and wait for new information. He said this on January 21st, 2018 at 9:33 a.m. I don't know if that's Japan time or our time, but of course he said this at 9:33 a.m. He then also said 10 minutes later, I went drinking with him last year and told him, do as you like. That's the way directors should do. I trust him and his team. Retweet at Game Evil Night. Do you think they will do your game justice? So Hideki Kamiya, and the person that has been given reins over the Resident Evil 2 remake, he actually told them to just do whatever the hell they wanted with the game, and he mentioned that he went to go get drinks with him last year. So the rumors of course, Resident Evil 2 remake that came out last year were completely bogus. The game is still in the works, and is even in the works right now, as Hideki Kamiya confirmed now in 2018. So a little bit more of information and stuff that has happened during this year is that apparently sometime around last month, around the end of the month, I think like the last week, we got a lot of these supposed leaks for the PlayStation presentation that is going to be presented by John Codera, and of course they had Resident Evil 2 Remake on all of these leaks, and that doesn't give the leak, of course, any more validity than anything else. Of course, it just means that obviously potentially it is possible, because obviously whoever the hell are making these leaks, they definitely want Resident Evil 2 Remake to be within, of course, the presentation or to be presented. However, a lot of these leaks also did feature other games that we know may not potentially get a trailer. So let's say, for instance, Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 potentially won't get a trailer at the PlayStation presentation, because we know Square Enix are going to be doing their very own presentation. And the way Square Enix have been carrying Kingdom Hearts 3 is that, remember back at E3 2015, the game didn't show up for Xbox and it didn't show up for PlayStation. And with, of course, Square Enix, I think Square Enix are actually going to be the first company doing a presentation. So it is potentially possible that, of course, the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer could also appear at the PlayStation conference, as of course there's going to be a lot more people that's going to watch the PlayStation conference, and right now they're trying to make sure Kingdom Hearts Hearts 3 gets as much promotion as possible, as of course the game is going to be coming out this year. So it is still a potential possibility. But then as we look around, we look at even more unconfirmed games and stuff that people have just been wanting to come out on the PlayStation, such as Players Unknown Battlegrounds, of course Bloodborne 2, BioShock Resurgence, PSVR mode. Of course we have Shenmue 3, a game that people have been waiting to hear more on. And then, of course, everything else kind of sounds like it would actually be there. We have like PlayStation Party, Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, Spider-Man PS4, VR mode. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. Potentially it could happen, but who knows, man. That's another game I cover here on the channel, but I'm just not too sure about a VR mode coming out about Spider-Man PS4, just because of the kind of game it is. Although I will state that one of my fantasies, of course, of all time as a fan of Spider-Man has been to actually swing around just like Spider-Man, so I definitely could see why they would want to do this. However, I just don't know why, of course, there hasn't been any news about a potential VR mode previously. And then, of course, the Resident Evil 7 remake, which we know had to go into redevelopment, I believe, just last year. So if we do see anything from this, it definitely won't be a demo like what's proposed here. It just can't be a demo already. I don't even think it's been like a full year since they, of course, started to rework on the Resident Evil 7. I mean, the Final Fantasy 7 remake. So I said Resident Evil 7. And then The Last of Us Part 2, we know a demo is coming for that. Death Stranding, potentially a demo will come because Hideo Kojima did actually show a demo. And then SOCOM Coalition teaser, and then once again a trailer for Battlegrounds, Players Unknown Battlegrounds, and then of course Ghost of Tsushima, a demo for that, another game I cover on the channel. I definitely could see a demo coming, not a demo, but more so like a gameplay trailer or gameplay presentation, but I guess you could kind of say that would be dubbed a demo as well. So I don't believe this particular list per se. It could be real, but who knows. But of course it's been popping up on all of these lists, and I mean, recently also the Remake domain has been registered, and of course it's been updated in June 2018. So that means that, of course, Capcom could potentially go live with a website for the Resident Evil 2 remake to, of course, shell out information to, of course, people who are interested after the presentation at E3 2018. So who knows exactly what's going to be happening, but all I can say is this: a lot has been going on for Resident Evil 2 Remake, from Hideki Kamiya actually talking about the game to, of course, the domain, to all of these rumors about the game coming. It definitely puts the game at a potential possibility of being at E3 2018. And I definitely don't want to be that guy that says, oh, it's not going to happen, because I want this to happen. Resident Evil 2 is my favorite fucking Resident Evil game of all time. And I would absolutely love to see it with updated graphics, as long as, of course, it plays just like the original. I'm not saying that I would be against having the option to do a Resident Evil 4 kind of gameplay style. However, I wanted to play like the original one. I want to be able to see all of these memorable scenes and stuff like that updated with graphics on like the Unreal 4 engine, or some engine that they have at Capcom that has recently been used, of course, for Resident Evil games presently. Now, of course, when it comes to other rumors and stuff for Resident Evil 2 Remake, we heard that potentially they were going to do like what they did with Resident Evil 7, and I just don't want that kind of gameplay style at all. That actually turned me off from Resident Evil 7 completely, and of course I was just like, oh man, they're just copying the fucking Amnesia style. Now, I'm not saying that that style is bad, because Amnesia is a fucking amazing game, and so is Soma, the other game that came from the developers of Amnesia. However, when it comes to Resident Evil, I want a remake to be exactly what the fuck it is, a remake of the original games. Now, the camera angles and stuff like that, we have the technology now to where those angles won't be as bad as they used to be. I know a lot of people complain about that. Oh, you want the angles to be exactly like how they were with all of the janky ass camera controls and stuff. We live in an era now to where that shit isn't a priority. That isn't something that they have to do. They don't have to use those exact same angles. They don't have to make those corridors as tight as they were and stuff that makes shit actually hard to deal with. Right now, we are in a position when it comes to the technology that we have to create a far better, smoother experience for Resident Evil 2, and at the same time have the game be a hell of a lot better with, of course, the graphics and everything. Nothing has to be, I guess you could say, pre-rendered, I guess you could say. But that's all my thoughts about Resident Evil 2 Remake. Just a kind of rambling rant, and of course actually giving you guys a kind of, update on everything that has happened with Resident Evil 2 Remake. This is definitely a game I'm going to be looking more into. If something does happen at E3 2018, I will actually start covering it on my channel, and I'm damn sure going to do a playthrough of it. So this has been your boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I can't promise you guys that anything will happen at E3 2018 because obviously I don't know, but if things start to rev up for Resident Evil 2 Remake for potentially a release this year or early 2019, definitely expect a lot of coverage from me of this game if you do wind up subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in to the video. This has been your boy Amaziah, and peace the heck out.
What's left of me? What's left of me? And you and I, there's a new land. Sanctuary, my sanctuary, reveal.